everyone, this is Rex Red. I am back with an awesome EZ3DTV tutorial today. We are going to see if we can work on changing your Daz 3D library content location. What we're going to do first here is we're going to open up our install manager, and I'm going to log into the install manager. And you see, that was like, it took like hardly no time at all. Well, it's still kind of thinking now. So this is a complicated thing for me because I'm going to assume that you have installed your content correctly. And is there a correct way? The stream is lower than recommended. I think it's still okay for this. It's at 30. Let's go and double check and make sure. Okay, and now that was pretty quick how it just came up and figured out that I have all this content. Now I have this content ready to download. Why are these here? Decimator. Oh, okay, so this must have just happened. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch to here, to my Daz 3D library, to this one. And I'm going to put these into my Daz 3 respective folders. Installed paths. Content path shortcuts. Okay, this doesn't all right, I guess we're going to go with that. And then what if we go and switch this to this? Okay, and then it switches that to there. Okay, so this is a complicated thing. So when I switch this to here, then that it tells that the content files will install to there. So what we're going to do now, what happens here is you have you probably, if you're watching this, you have one content library. And this is a good thing for people who have a couple of hard drives or one or two hard drives, and they're running out of space on their hard drive for their content. Okay, and so what do you do when you start running out of space? Okay, well, you have to find more space somewhere else. And I was under the impression that you could only have one My Daz 3D library. And so I went and bought this enormous hard drive a while back, this solid state drive. It was a 4 terabyte solid state drive, and it cost me almost $500 for a little teeny kind of chip thing that goes onto my motherboard, and it gave me 4 terabytes of space to put my Daz library. Well, I'm kind of starting to get filled up. Now I'll show you all what let's see if we can get here. This is the deal that I would suggest right now. This is a massive price, okay? It's $266 for the 4 terabyte. I think, and this particular drive here This is Gen 4, PCIe Gen 4, which means that this right here, this little chip, it's about the size of, well, I would say this size, okay? It's between my fingers there, a tiny little thing, and it's very flat. It's about the width of a matchbook. And you plug, my motherboard is Gen 4, PCI Gen 4. There's also Gen 5. And I do not have Gen 5 capability on my motherboard, which is kind of okay. To me, having Gen 4, which means right now my Gen 3 speeds are about 3,500. I guess we'll just say roughly about 3,500 megabytes per second, which comes down to, if we go look at this converter page, okay, this is GMB.org GPS to megabits per second, and I probably should throw this in here so that I can keep it. All right, now you can use this and just add in your gigabits and it'll tell you how many megabits that you have. Or you can look at this chart here and you can look and say, okay, my hard drive does, which this would be, this hard drive, this solid state drive, it does 7,450. So let's say 7,500. So you come down here to this and you find the 7,500, which is about here. And that means this does 60 gigabytes per second. Okay, 60 gigabytes per second. That's the read speed, okay? Now the write speed may be like a little bit less, like maybe it might be 40 gigabytes per second. I'm not sure about that, but I'm quite sure that this is the read speed. So when it's reading something from your hard drive and trying to put it into Daz, like a model or something like that, it's 60. So basically, it's 60 gigabytes per second. So basically, when you see, I'm going to take and clear this scene out. Now, you're going to notice my computer is a lot faster than it was. So now when I go to a new scene here, create a new scene, it's almost instantaneous how it empties out this RAM. The RAM is at least double the speed of the RAM, but it's emptying it out of my video RAM. Okay, so now we have a new scene already. Now, when I put a figure into the scene, let's come in here and go and see how quickly these things, it's just instant now, these figures here. Let's go with Tauren 8.1, and we'll go click on this figure and put Tauren in the scene. Now, how long? And this is going to be changing because like my current, that little chip that's in there, I just purchased another chip, and that chip is twice as fast. So when you see Tauren come in here and how quickly he loads into the scene, which he's already loading quite quickly, he is going to be able to load in half of that time. So you can see this is quite, and it's just something that I really don't like to do when I'm live. Is like, okay, I've got to put a figure into the scene and then to just wait. Okay, so we're still waiting for Tauren to go into the scene. Come on, Tauren. Anytime now, Tauren. Come on. And see, this is something I don't like to do live. And so if I can cut this in half, that would be really nice. Well, that's exactly what this does right here, is it cuts that in half, okay? Because my current speed is about 3,500 and this is 7,000. It's around 3,200 or something like that. So it's exactly like half of that. Make sure the that's not good. All right, so we have him in the scene now. I'm not sure why we have duplicate content. Oh, okay, something's wrong here. Turbo loader, I think I moved turbo loader to the other drive, and now it's not showing up here. Okay, so, and this is 8.1 content. So let's see, Genesis 1, 8 male, 8 female, 8.3. Okay, I may have messed up turbo loader. Let's see though. So let's go here and find out. So we're going to go and search for installed content. Let's look up turbo. Turbo content for Daz 4.5. Okay, where is this? All right, so now, I mean, you have to be careful because this could just mess up your hard drive like horribly. Okay, ready to install. So we go into this Daz library, Daz 2. Okay, so this is to search. I'm not sure what we're searching because this is not all of my turbo loader stuff. I don't think Genesis 2, Genesis 2, Genesis 3, Genesis, where's Genesis 8 and 8.1, okay, and Genesis 9. Okay, for Genesis and okay, so those are all the turbo loader. And then this is turbo content for Daz Studio 4.5. I'm not sure what's up with that. Why this no additional metadata. Okay, so now if I go to here, it tells me file list. Okay, and where is this Riversoft data? Okay, it says My Daz 3D Library 2. See, so that's the problem right here. So what I have to do is go here to this and uninstall it. So we go and uninstall that turbo loader for Genesis 3. That's the problem. I believe why these are not showing up for Genesis 3 male and female. Yeah, okay. So we're uninstalling it. And then, which is kind of a good thing here to show you how this all works. Why it's taking so long, I don't know about that. Okay, so now we should see turbo loader in here. And what we do is select this product and then say, I want to put this back into Daz 3D library, the regular Daz, and start the queue. It's done. Okay, so now when I click on this and show file list, it says it's in My Daz 3D library 2. And we go into turbo loader for Genesis 2. Let's see where this show list. Okay, that's in My Daz 3D library. And let's look at this one for Genesis 8. Show file list. Okay, that's in the correct place. So now if I were, now this is Torian, T-O-R-I-N, Torian. He's an elf. Okay, so we're going to close this down. Would you like to save changes? No. Let's see if this fixes the problem. So what this could do is mess everything up. And that's what we're going to look at and see. I would assume it would fix it if I just move it all back into back onto the other drive. So we shall see. Okay, we're here. Now watch how quickly I can go into my figures. They're just like right there. Okay, and all I've really done here, Torian. Okay, let's go and put him back in and see if we still get the duplicate. Now, see, these are fixed up here. Torian may have Genesis 3 roots. I hope I don't get that same problem again. So he could be referencing files that are on the... Okay, properly see the log file for more details. Okay. All right, let's look at the log file. I hate doing stuff like this. Is such advanced stuff. Okay, but that's what we're here to do, is to look at this stuff and figure out what we're doing. Okay, this is Torian. He is beautiful. Now let's see about, we could take those ears down if we wanted to also and turn him into a real man. Look at those beautiful eyebrows. I think they may be painted on. I think they're painted on. That's the thing about painted eyebrows, is they're just so beautiful. Let's see about if they are painted on here. Eyebrows, yeah, they are. Okay, so but there's in the materials we can take them off if we wanted to. All right, let's not worry about the eyebrows right now. Let's go into the log files. So that would be up here, and I think help, troubleshooting, view log file. And where is the, I hate it when they give dates that are like military time. I never learned how to. So 2617 formula output property. Zeticus. Okay, Genesis 8 mail. Okay, form property 8 mail. Gustav. Wonder if it's down here. This would be. Okay, this is a render, so I don't think that's it. And this would be 2617. This is 2617. So this is all warning, Daz asset, formula, output property. Morphs. Okay, let's see if my morphs are turned off on any of these. Okay. Select check all. Execute. All right, this is Genesis 1. Check all. Execute.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
All right, and let's go to the female. Check all. Check all. Oh, this is strange why these are all unchecked. Okay. Female. This may not be good. Okay, at least the Genesis 8 male are right. The Genesis 8 female are correct. All right, and that's correct. All right. Why all of this happened, I don't know. Let's delete Torian and put him back into the scene and see what it says now. Because you would think if you uninstalled something from one content library, it would take it out and put that thing into the other content library and not leave two of them. So, all right, it's probably going to see that duplicate formula again. I hope this doesn't go like for everything. I guess it's not really the end of the world if it sees two formulas that are the same, but it could be because, yeah, see this? Make sure the content is properly installed. See the log file for more details. This is horrific. Okay, so we go now to help, troubleshooting log file again, and see if we can make heads or tails of this. Warning. Formula out property not output. Property not found. Male morphs Zeticus. Male data. Male morphs Helios. It's like there's, okay, we have to go back into here. So I've done something messed up here. Start. Okay, so this might be kind of like a lesson for you all to figure out, okay? Is that Genesis 3. Okay. Now you see this? These look like they're missing. Package includes additional metadata. Now when I click on this, it should show file list. Okay. This right here, Genesis 3 Starter Essentials. Okay, so this right here, the Starter Essentials should be, we go to start the queue. This could be it. We go now to this and this Starter Essentials. Robe. Okay, so we just select these and now we put them back into our regular library instead of Genesis. Called Classic Robe. Now we go here. Genesis 3. And this one, the robe. And we select this robe. Now this robe is in the correct library. Now these ones here, Genesis 3 males. Package has no additional metadata. Now these, I wish they told me where it went here, but these are in the other library. Okay, I think those are okay. And I wish it told me more information here. So Genesis X2 add-on for Genesis 3. Let's uninstall that. And see what else is here. Rating cloak for Genesis 3 and 8. Okay. Where are those? Show file list. Okay, they're in the Genesis. All right, see, I'm not sure that, okay, now this goes, we select this, the add-on, and we switch this to my Genesis library here, start queue, and that should put that back onto another hard drive, a different drive. Now, I'll show you here how this starts as we go. When we select this, your current path, which would be my Daz 3D library, this pops up. What you do is you add another path, give it a label, and then tell it where you want that new library to exist, and click accept. All right, and then you'll see two libraries here. Okay, and then what happens is when you have stuff that you've downloaded from Daz, you can select which library, and you want it to go to respective installed paths, not the selected path. I think that's what I might have done wrong, is installed things to the selected path. This option to cause content up to install the same paths they are currently installed to. So this is very complicated stuff. So now let's see if we have this same problem with like everything we put into the scene. So we go to figures, and let's find a different figure. Let's find another Genesis 8 figure. This is an 8.1 figure, Devon. All right. Are you going in, or did I click you? Okay, there we go. So this new motherboard that I have has a 5. So we're going to be sometime maybe by February of next year, I'll probably have a 5090 that I'll be able to show you how that works. We are working on getting the best experience so that I can showcase these things for you all. That's what it's about, is showing different things. So, okay, how long is this going to take to go in? Let's hope we don't end up with duplicate formulas again. It probably will. I probably messed up my content folder. So it won't be the first time. But I have to learn how to use these, how to make dual folders. And because the thing is that, yes, these drives are very fast, okay? They're like so fast that like when this, I'm expecting this to arrive soon. And when this arrives, this waiting like this will be half the time. Okay, look at this duplicate formula found in files. This really sucks. It's gonna put him in here. But all right, so let's bring the head down a little bit so he's not so ugly. All right, and that's a little better. So why is this happening? See, I'm not really sure exactly, and I think I just closed down my install manager. Here it is again. So in order to open this, I have to now wait again for this to, this is so weird. It's showing these things all now much quicker, but then it's still going up here. See, I'm not sure like how to just say, well, show me, these are ready to download. Okay, now I thought I already did these, but I guess maybe I didn't. So these should go to the Daz library. Okay, so but what we need to do is we go to this folder and all these Genesis 3. Hello. Have to look in the log when you get those errors. Yes. Well, see, I don't use any my libraries in my Daz setup. I have a main archive from which I draw all my assets when I create a new directory for each new project. Okay, so, all right. I have a main archive from which I draw all my assets when I create a new directory for each new project. See, but there's a lot, that seems like it's very difficult, Gray, because there's so many interconnections between project objects. So you have everything uninstalled? Is that what you're saying, that you just draw on your downloaded files and unzip them for each project? Is that what you're saying? See, okay, so maybe you guys can help me, because I looked at the log file and it didn't make any sense to my brain, okay? But let's take a look at the log file again. Now, all right, today I am broadcasting in 4K, if you noticed. So if you're watching, well, of course you're watching on YouTube, you can set it. I probably won't be broadcasting like this in 4K very often. Let me double check and make sure that we are actually in 4K before I say we are and find out we're not. So, okay, this is live. You're watching, well, of course you're watching. Okay, let's see. Yeah, we are broadcasting live today in 4K. So, yes, I don't know why I look so subdued, my color. All right, so we close this. So let's go back here to our help file, troubleshooting, log file. And see, I don't understand this. It says warning, source, file name Daz, asset.cpp formula output property not found. And see, so it's not looking for these properties on the second. See, I made a second. See, if you go into my content library here, you'll see now that up here I have My Daz 3D Library 2. And if I click in here, you can see that I have certain products installed. Genesis 3. Well, they're supposed to be here, but they're not. Nothing's showing. Okay, there's something. Okay. Oh, they're mostly the Genesis 3. Male would be, and Anatomy, okay. Daz has to sort through every morph in there before loading anything. Yes, Gary, Gray. That is true, okay? But right now I have... Oh, okay, yes. So the thing is that if you can... all right, like the morph loader, I can just come into morph loader and turn off a lot of morphs, and this would be through the turbo morph loader. I can turn them off, all off, and only load in the morphs that are needed per character. But right now I have messed something up because I've gone and created this second Daz library, and as you can see in this Genesis 3 male, let's see, Genesis 3 male characters. I've got quite a few of them now in here that I have installed into this second library. Because if you figure they take a while to load because they're all trying to load from the same solid state drive. Okay, or the same hard drive or whatever you have them on, and it can only successively read that drive so quick. And so it's got to read all through all these morphs. But if you have some of them installed on one solid state drive, some of them installed on another solid state drive, and some of them, it can read all those drives in parallel. And then it's just like bam, and then you don't have to worry about jumping all these hoops. And that's the same thing like the first thing I did when I went into my when I realized that I could break these up and put them on different drives was I just went into and I typed in HDRI, and I typed this HDRI, and look at all the HDRI files that I have, and you know these HDRI files are huge, okay? And so I selected them all and went and uninstalled them all. So you just select them all here and uninstall them. And so then they all showed up in this ready to install. And when I went into the ready to install, I just selected my library 2 that I created. I went here to this gear and I added another library here. Like you add a library and you type in, say, My Daz 3D library 2, and then I selected the path to where I wanted them to go, and then once that second library was created, then it showed up here, and I could just say, okay, select that library and say, now start the queue and install them there. Okay? Then what happened is all of a sudden now when I come in here to my like in figures or click environments or something like this, which I have to turn that off. So I would go to my figures. They were just instantaneous because those HDRIs are no longer loading from the same exact hard drive or solid state drive or whatever. They're loading in parallel from another drive. But what happened was I don't believe they show up here in your render settings, where this is where most of your HDRIs show up, are in here. So you have to go up to this and you have to go to Content DB Maintenance, and then you have to click reimport metadata. I think that's what you do. Condensed database. Let's see, reset database. And this could take a long time with 11,000 things, but I might have to reset the database in order. Okay, let's see. We'll delete all data from the database and restore it to its default state. Any and all customizations to the database will be removed, including including any metadata inserted by content installers. This cannot be undone. How it is best way to update Daz if you don't use smart content. I load all from the content library. I'm just the opposite 3D madness. And okay, there is a lag. So when you post something, it's not like I'm not noticing what you're doing, but I respond to it and you hear my response because I'm broadcasting in 4K. You hear my response about maybe 20 or 30 seconds after I say it, okay? So I'm about like 30 seconds ahead. So when you post something, I'm reading your chat. So don't think I'm like, I didn't notice, okay? It's just that I respond and you notice my response with a lag, okay? So you have to at least re-import the metadata so that it looks and finds the metadata. You also have to add the new library here. So you right-click on this My Daz and add a base library and tell it where this library 2 here now that I have. My Daz 3D library 2. So I think what I have to do to fix this problem, okay, is what I did was you don't want to move any figures from your main library, okay? I think that's the big problem is you can't move figures. Richard Hazeltine in the forums today tried to warn me about something about metadata and things that belong to other things, and I just didn't. I kind of like read right through it because I just didn't understand what he meant. Anyway, all of this is new to me, so I just don't understand it anyway. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to undo what I did. Okay. That's a good idea. That's a very good idea with the log files. Okay, so what I'm going to do first, though, is I'm going to try to bring back all of my Genesis 3 characters. So from the other drive and see what happens. So let's... So I go here, and what I typed in was Genesis 3. Okay, and it did all of this. And so what I'm going to do is select all these products and uninstall them all. It'll take a moment. These are the Genesis 3 things that I uninstalled. And then if I install them back, take them all, uninstall them from their respective paths, I guess. And then install them back. I hope I don't have too many. Yeah, 340 installed. So now I should be able to. That's a very good idea. So let's go into the help file, troubleshooting, go view log file. Okay, now can I just, I can select all and delete. Okay, and save, I guess. Save it. All right, now let's close this down. Save changes, no. So, all right, so there's two things going on because number one, I have a 4 terabyte solid state drive. Well, it's getting kind of full, and I'm thinking, I've got 11,000 assets, and I still have almost a terabyte left, and I have other libraries that I could move to other drives and still maybe end up getting like maybe a terabyte and a half left. That's a long time to keep buying Daz products, a terabyte worth of products. But I said that before, but right now, like for $260, I can get another solid state drive. And this solid state drive, which is what I picked up today, is this solid state drive here. This one is $266, and it's twice as fast as the one I have, and it's 4 terabyte, and it's in this because it's twice as fast because it's PCIe Gen 4. So it'll make the first Gen 4. So my content is going to be loading like really fast. But there are things that I would like to get out of my... There are things that I'd like to get off of, out of my content, like all those HDRIs. I'd like to put them on another drive so that when I load, those are a huge glut, because all of those HDRIs, every time you go into your content, and okay, 3D Madness, I really didn't answer your question. I load all from the content library. My suggestion is to start to learn to use smart content. And because if you already have a really, really, really good grasp on where everything's located in the content library, then, using the smart content library should be kind of easy to learn, because it's harder to learn the content library than the smart content library. But the thing about this, using the smart content library, is it narrows so much junk down that you don't have to parse as much to find things. And so I almost work exclusively in the I'm just the opposite. I work, and you probably know that I work, and I don't know what you mean by the best way to update Daz if you don't use smart content. I load all from the you update Daz through the Install Manager. I'm not really sure. You have to reword that, okay, so that it's a little clearer what you mean. So, but the idea, okay, now if I wanted to say, okay, well, this is a 4 terabyte, this is $266. I believe it was less today. I think it went up in price, because I think I've got this for about $13 today. So, but this is massive. Look at the speed of that. It's and so that speed is like what, 60 gigs per second. Okay, that's going to load a lot of morphs. All right, really, really quickly from the drive. Okay. And so now, but we go back into here, and let's go and look on Amazon. Let's look up 8 terabyte. Okay, 8 terabyte PCIe 4.0 M.2. And look at the price of just double that. It's like $266 for 4 terabyte. It's $1,000. And these are the not even the name brand ones. If you go into the Samsung ones, the really nice ones, this is 8 Team Group. Okay, this is 8 terabytes, $849. It's the price of a whole computer, okay, for one of these. And then you've got, I don't even see the Samsung ones. Okay, this is Western Digital. Okay, that's only 4 terabytes. So you can see this 8 terabyte PCI Gen 4, PCIe 4X, okay? So this is PCI 4. So, and this is 7,000. It's not quite as fast. This is a Corsair one. And you can tell the expensive ones, the ones that were... So it's $1,000. So, but if you can buy 2 of these $300 ones, and I've got 4 slots in my motherboard for these M.2 cards. So if you put 2 of them for your Daz library, then that gives you 8 terabytes. I just need about 4 to 5 terabytes. That's fun. Is that it, CDJ? Mine, all right, so, right. Well, that's the thing, is that right now they're down to like this price of $266 for, you don't want to look for a 5 terabyte one, because they don't really make them in that size. And so if you find one, it's like an oddball, and these are there for, you would want to look for a 4 terabyte one, okay? And then if you run out of space, okay, and you fill that 4 terabyte one up, which will take about 11,000 Daz assets to do it. Now, another thing is your project folder, okay? Now, you may not want to keep your entire project folder. Like, see, my project folder is here, and if I go My Daz Studio Renders and select all, okay, and properties, this is how big my project folder is. Okay, it's not that big because your projects, they don't really, like, you don't, when you have like Michael 8 in your scene and you save your project, it doesn't save Michael 8 in your project. It only saves the pointers to that Michael 8 content. So when you load your scene, it loads Michael 8 not from your project folders, but it loads Michael 8 from your My Daz 3D library, from that instance. So that's why you can have external. Yes, the thing about external drives, okay, Gary, is external drives are not. Now, external drives are not as fast, okay? Not even near as fast. And external drives are not heavy duty, okay? An external drive is meant, and I mean, you can get, a 16 terabyte external drive for the price of a 4 terabyte M.2 drive, okay, internal drive. Yes, but see, the external drives, and I got this information from, I think it was Seagate, from their laboratory, okay? I called like Taiwan, okay, and talked with them in the laboratory, and they told me that external drives, like none of them are heavy duty, okay? And that means a lot, because what that means is if you use an external drive as like you would an internal drive, you will burn it out within a couple of years. And if you've ever noticed, external drives are constantly dying. They die on you and die on you and die on, where an internal drive will last you for years, like 10 years. Okay, and that's because internal drives are heavy duty, and all you have to do, Gary, to believe me, okay, because it might be a little bit unbelievable what I'm saying, okay, but if you've ever wondered how they can sell an external drive with an added enclosure, okay, because external drives have all this plastic, this fancy plastic enclosure, okay? How can they sell you an external drive with an enclosure and it costs less than an internal drive without the enclosure, okay? And the reason why is because external drives are not heavy duty. And so like if you're going to be like gaming from that drive, it's only going to last you a couple of years. External drives are meant, this is what external drives are meant for, is to take your data, put it on the drive, put it on a shelf, and leave it for 10 years. That's what an external drive is for. It is not meant for like accessing like video, playing videos, or playing gaming, accessing game files and all of that. It's not meant to be used as an internal drive. And none of them. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't pay more for an external drive, but you have to like make sure you get like the black version and all of that. And usually they're not. They don't even tell you what version they are inside because it's all kind of encapsulated inside of that. You know, it's all hidden, and they do it deceptively. Okay, but that's why external drives are cheaper, even with the enclosure, than internal drives. Do not trust your data to even, I would say even shelf data, I wouldn't trust to an external drive because they're just not heavy duty. And so right off the bat, you're putting your data in jeopardy. It's better to like buy an internal drive and stick that on the shelf, okay? That's just, or make sure that you buy like one of the, Western Digital Red or some of the Seagate Wolf ones or something. You have to get the ones that are external, that have like this kind of like protection, like where they cloud protected or anything like that, but something that has some kind of like 5-year kind of guarantee kind of thing, okay? Those are heavy duty drives, external drives, okay? Just don't even buy one, okay? Because you're buying a drive that's not heavy duty, and just right from the get-go, your data is in jeopardy, okay? So what I would suggest, if you're using external drives, it's time to phase them out and put all your stuff on internal heavy-duty drives that cost a little bit more to buy. Okay? They cost more, yes. And they don't cost that much more, maybe 20 or 30 bucks for the same kind of thing. But that's what you want to do, all right? Because your drives, and especially if you're using them all the time, you're going to lose your data. It's that simple. They are going to fail, and and it's going to be horrible. Okay, so now we go to 3D Madness. Every piece of data is a morph. Yeah, that's what's kind of happening right now, is that a lot of the Daz data is morphs, and we go and buy them. We buy them like crazy, and they're these morph sets that we buy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now select all of these ones that are in this ready to install folder, and I'm going to now install them to selected path. All right. All right. Okay, we're going to, all right. Okay, and then we're going to start the queue. All right, and then I'm going to just install them back into my Daz 3D library and see if that fixes. Hello, Art. Hello. Now I'm reinstalling all of my Genesis 3 female and male stuff. I uninstalled it all from my Daz 3D library, and I tried to put it into a new Daz 3D library 2, and I ended up with all kinds of... So I'm going to try to just fix this problem by reinstalling it all back into my library, because I didn't have this problem until I started trying to split up my figures. You can watch your show on your cell phone and then answer live since you don't usually type in the chat. Well, I did kind of check it out on YouTube, and I found out that it's there. I just know roughly that it could be 30 seconds and all. So, all right. So now there was a question. There was also like a new Daz version comes out, I always get confused to the best way to go about it. Install Manager. Always get confused. The best way to go about Install Manager is what I've used. And yeah, if there's a new version of Daz, never download it, man. Don't install anything manually, okay? Except brushes for Photoshop, okay? Always, always, always use the Install Manager for everything, unless there's something really strange, like sometimes every once in a while, a product will come out broken, like it just doesn't work in the Install Manager. And sometimes there's some workarounds that until they get the Install Manager fixed, and you have to go and do the workarounds for it to work. But other than that, always, especially for Daz, always install your Daz updates to Daz 3D. Always, always, always use the Install Manager for everything. Never download things manually, install them. Never, ever. Because that's how you end up with the problem that I'm having right now with duplicate entries, where you end up with things that get put in the wrong place. And so I may end up having to redo my library and then try this again. Now, what I would like, this Daz Central is never use Daz Central. Maybe you could use Daz Central just to kind of find stuff and look stuff over. Daz Central has been deprecated. They're not working it on anymore. They've gone back to the Install Manager because nobody used the Daz Central. It's notoriously awkward to work with. Yes, it is. The Daz Install Manager is awkward to work with, especially setting. It's hugely awkward, especially which is unbelievable, and CDJ and Gray. You two have just in 2 sentences have like encapsulated the problem. There's 2 problems: that Daz Install Manager is awkward to work with, and the other problem is Daz Central. It should never have been made. Okay? Daz Central should, if they had taken all of that effort, and hindsight is 2020, if they had taken all that effort they put into Daz Central and put it into making the Daz Install Manager less awkward, we would have this massive, massive product right now. So, but you live and learn. And so that's the way. So I'm installing all of these things back. Hopefully they're going to be taken out of this secondary thing and put back in. And then maybe when I go into Daz and I click on a figure, that it's going to not have that problem. But I have now the log file has been emptied, which that was a great tip, Gray. I think it was, who was it that told me to take and erase the log file? I never thought of that, but that was a good piece of information about, yes, it was Gray, to delete all the files, log files, and then shut it down and restart. That was a good piece of information. Very good tip. because I always look at that log file and say, well, which one? And then there's that the thing about like it all. Go back into my library and see if I fix this, and if not, then we're going to see about troubleshooting it. I might have to redo my entire library to fix this. So, but that's to reinstall 11,000 items. It's take all night. I just have to uninstall the whole kit and caboodle and reinstall it, and by noon tomorrow, it'll be all reinstalled. So, because I have I don't delete my download files. So what? Okay, I'm in the wrong place here. We got to go here, all products, default, and now my figures are back, which kind of sucks. But let's go down and see if it was with the Genesis 8 and 8.1 figures. Here, let's bring tire in and see what happens. So I just basically took them. I took and I did a search in the install manager for Genesis 3 mail. I mean just Genesis 3. And then I just uninstalled all of them and I installed them all into a second directory. And it turns out now look at this. I have duplicate formula. Okay, so this really sucks. So basically, I've done something wrong. My first impression is the install manager I would rather use a much worse word than awkward. But the install manager, you should just be able to install something to another directory, and that's it. You shouldn't have all this crap. So, this really bothers me. Okay, now I'm on a new computer, brand new chip, brand new motherboard, brand new RAM, okay? Everything is much faster now. Remember, I had a problem where my VDBs... Welcome, Denner. Welcome. Hola to you. Hola. Nice to have you here. Thank you for coming in. Welcome. So, oh yeah, my God, he looks handsome. All right, so, yeah, I forget how nice Tyre looked. So, yeah. So, all right. Now let's go into our scripts and troubleshooting, view log, and see what this is. Now this is a lot for one. See this all, maybe it rewrote it back? Because, all right, it's saying, okay, closing main window. All right, so let's select all. Let's delete all this. Let's file save. File, save. Okay, save with the log file. All right, let's take tire out. I think he's pronounced tire. Like, I think there are some Bible places, Tyre and Sidon are parts in the Bible, places in the Bible. I forget where they are. Somewhere in the Levant. So, let's put this back in and see what we get. You wouldn't think there would be that many log things just for putting one character in, but he comes in with a beard. So, I'm not sure what's going on here. This is, I'll look at my Genesis, at these things again and see. I have a feeling that I have a tendency to want to blame Turbo Loader for everything. Because Turbo Loader, it just, I don't know, it's a content library killer. And once you end up with this problem, Okay, so duplicate formulas. Make sure the content is properly installed. It is. Okay, so he's back. Now we go to script. Now we go to help and trouble. Let's see. Oh, yeah. See, we got this massive. All right, so locking viewport redraw. Okay, so we got to go in through read like all of this. Could not find instance extra for definition. Okay, now it says this sucks. So I should never have tried to move characters into another directory. Okay, these DSF, mouth smiles, simple. I wonder, these are like morphs. Target property not found. Mouth smile open. Okay, these are morphs. And so this is all turbo loader stuff. It's all turbo loader. Let's see. Problems with turbo loader. Male, female, and Genesis 9. So I just thought I would like come on here and show you how to really totally mess up your content library so that you have to spend hours and an entire night and the next day reinstalling it all because you tried to move some of your content to another content folder. So now what if I take tire out? And now let's go. He's Genesis 8.1. So we open up the Genesis 8 mail. All right. And we would go and execute selected. All right, execute. Now, if we go into this Genesis 8 mail, okay, this is disabling all these morphs. Maybe if we disable them all. 0 disabled. Why? Why couldn't it disable these morphs? All right, checked. Oh, we uncheck all and then execute, and that means they're turned off. All right. So this turns off all of our Genesis 8 and 8.1 morphs. Now, 15,000 morphs were disabled, okay? Now, when we select him, and now which one is this? It's one of these. Okay, inspect assets. All right, which one? Enable required morphs in open file. Enable required morphs in merge file. Okay, let's try that. So let's see if we get the duplicate morphs now. It's probably going to get duplicate morphs. Because I have morphs now with different names on them. Like backup or something, I don't know. Let's see. There's a glimmer of hope that this is going to work, but it's probably not good. I don't have any faith in this. Because once you get these duplicate errors, they're just like the hardest thing to get rid of. And it's just horrible. And why is it taking so long? Because all it's loading now is him and his required morphs. It shouldn't be loading like it shouldn't. It should be. I think I've got to like restart Daz or something, because it shouldn't be taking this long. So something's wrong. Something is wrong. So, but we'll see. It would be really nice if, okay, and he looks like him, and we didn't get that option, okay, that problem, so let's delete here. Now, this could be really nice if Turbo Loader is actually the thing that fixes this problem, okay, where it just comes in and it removes all of the duplicate things. Okay, so we'll check all. And we'll go execute. We'll turn all them back on. And I know where I'm put. Okay, see, don't get duplicate files anymore. I don't get them with using the Daz Install Manager. I never get duplicate files. The only time I get duplicate files is if I use morph loader and morph loader incorrectly. And if I use morph loader incorrectly, it'll pop up and say, I can't find these files. Do you want to download them from the internet and put them in there? Then I'll get the duplicate files. I never, all of my data I install. I'm not saying, Gray, that what you're doing is that installing manually isn't a good thing to do. But I'll tell you right now, all you've got to do is do one thing and mess up your library, and all of those manual installs that you've got, you're going to have to do again. That's all. And it's only a matter of time when you're going to try to do something that's wrong. And you'll end up, you could end up kind of messing up your library. And then you've got to go back. I mean, I have 11,000 items. So I can't install them manually. That's just, I just can't. And I can't take the chance of installing them manually and putting all of that time into installing them manually. That's one thing I have to give you lots and lots and lots and lots of credit, because when you install things manually, you kind of learn where they're going. You learn where they are, and you go in and you check, and there it is. There's the thing I bought. That's what, with me, I'll buy in one day, buy like 20 items and get them all for $1 each, and I'll install them, and it's like, I'll never see them again. I don't even know where the hell they went. So, that's, okay, so did that fix my morphs? Okay, bringing the library, what I did was I put all my stuff back in, and then I went to Morph Loader, turned off all my morphs, turned them all back on. I have a feeling this is a morph problem, and I think maybe that's what Richard warned me. He said something about things associated with your figures, about something, and I don't understand. I couldn't understand it. It's just, this is all new to me. I know a lot of stuff about Daz, but what I don't know, I'm dumb as a brick. And that's the way it is. So please work now this time. So this tells me that when this happens, if I go in and just shut off all my morphs and turn them all back on, that it will just turn, because I don't actually necessarily have duplicate morphs. It's just going into, I don't know. We'll see. Because I'm just hoping that I don't have that message again. Because that means that I don't have to reinstall my library again. So, come on. Just put him in the scene. Don't give me that error. I only wish Daz Connect's categorizing did a better job at tagging items like Genesis 8 female, Victoria. Yeah, I do too. I wish you could just go up here and search for Genesis 8 male, and you'd get all your Genesis 8 males. It just doesn't. It searches and it gives you everything Genesis. It gives you everything that has an 8 in it, and then it gives you everything that has the word male in it. And it should give you, every Genesis 8 male figure. There should be a way to search for stuff and get it. But I'm not a developer on the smart content and the Daz library. I'm not dealing with a bunch of different vendors who all have to learn how to tag stuff. They're not. It's not universal. It's not. There's so many things when they bring products in, they try to vet them as best they can. Half of the times, half of the stuff doesn't even work. Okay, look at this. It looks like it's trying to load this now. Okay, duplicate files. So I've corrupted my library, and it's just whether if I uninstall the whole library and redo it again, I don't know if this is going to fix it or not, but it really sucks, okay? So, and I'm not going to get angry at at Daz and the install manager, even though I am. I'm going to pretend that I'm not. So, because it's just I'll figure it out, but it just means that trying to use their install manager and move things to another drive ruins your library. Okay, it doesn't work. And it should, but there again, I'm not a developer. I don't know how hard it is, what I'm asking them to do, and exactly how difficult it is to get those things to really work. But all I did today was try to move stuff to another directory. Now, there's one other possibility. What I could do is try and take this, just hide this other library that's in we'll just move it out of all right, so I created my Daz library 2. Okay, it's in here. And where is it now? My Daz library 2. And if I remove that base library, it doesn't delete it. It just takes it out of its reckoning. And now if I come up here and content database maintenance, and if I just reimport the metadata, all right, and click accept, it takes a couple minutes to do this. Now what did I do? I took out that other drive, and I rebuilt my what do you call it? I rebuilt the database. So it's probably not going to be looking on that, because my assumption now is that these duplicate files are on the other drive. Okay, so it's seeing and it might, and the reason why I'm really not getting upset with Daz is because it probably works if you do it right. And I probably didn't do it. I'm sure I didn't do it right. Okay. Then sometimes there's just like a little checkbox you're supposed to check if you're going to do a certain thing a certain way. And I didn't have it checked. And so it probably put the files on that disk and kept them files on here rather than removing the files here. And so then there's two. And so if I don't know, but what's kind of scary is that if it probably wouldn't be a bad time to redo my content library and just delete everything. I have a bunch of stuff saved up, but I don't have a lot of like customized content. So the thing is that I do have a lot of what are they called? It's just a lot of things that, like a lot of clothing things, like clothing converters. I have a bunch of converted clothing, and I had, a bunch of converted hair. I have converted poses and all, and I think the converted poses will work because it actually converts the file and creates a whole different folder with all those new poses in it, which you'd think it would be kind of. So I'm not sure what's going to happen, because if I just take my converted poses folder, maybe the pose and the thumbnail are all right in there. So I just may have to delete. That included the start. Okay, so here it is again. So duplicate formula. I think what happened here is because I had my Genesis 3 stuff, I think, turned off. Let's try unchecking all my Genesis 3 stuff, execute it. Okay, let's uncheck Genesis 2. Now, see, if I uncheck all of these, execute, and Genesis 1, uncheck all, and the Genesis 3 mail, uncheck all. This is how you use this turbo loader product. Turbo loader may have by moving things with having turbo loader, having them turned off. When you turn them off, all these morphs off. Okay, I know what happened. When you go in here and you turn them all off, what turbo loader does is it renames all those morphs. It like puts the word backup on them or something at the end of it, so that Daz can't see them anymore. It renames them. And so when I moved my characters to the other drive, then it, now tire is a Genesis 8 mail. Okay, so we go here. Okay, these are turned off. Yeah, so what it did was it put them all back in when I installed them on the other drive. It put them all in. Oh, and I have a ton of all of my Genesis 8 figures. That's going to be the hard part. Is I have All of my Genesis 8 figures I have converted, and I do use those. So I have messed up my content library doing this. So but it's that's what happens, I guess. So I had all of these turned off, and when I went to uncheck all, well, oh, uncheck all, okay. And these Genesis 8 mail. I think it's still seeing that other Genesis 8 female, uncheck all, execute. Okay, what I'm going to do, all right, now I can't do this like this because I did one other change here. With my content library. I've got to delete that whole folder here. See, that's the thing, is that it took morphs that belonged to the Genesis, and I had all of my morphs renamed. I had Turbo Loader. So yeah, I did. Turbo Loader did this again. It's the second time Turbo Loader has destroyed. I guess me. It's the second time I've made this mistake. You don't use Turbo Loader morph, yeah. The included startup stuff. The thing about Turbo Loader is that when it works really well. Okay, like basically you can take any figure and you can have, and Turbo Loader will look for all the morphs that belong only to that figure. And it will load that figure into your scene within 2 or 3 seconds, 4 seconds, okay? Instead of like a half a minute, sometimes a minute. Now, if I want to convert this figure and say, I want to change him, I've got all his clothes on, I've got his pose on, I've got hair, I've got morphs, I got skin, I got all this stuff, and I just want to change his shape to a different figure, it can take up to like 30 minutes to just have it change. Like you can go in here and click on another figure and it'll say like this tire guy, and if I click on another figure like this Genesis 8 male, or tire is I think 8-1, I'm not sure. So if we find an 8-1 figure like this guy, and if I go in here and click on him, and it'll pop up, okay, it says skip that. Now it's going to say apply this character to the current selected figure. Now if I apply that can take up to 30, even more than 30 minutes for it to apply that shape to him. And you've got all those clothes on, you've got all his pose, you've got him, his every finger and everything all completely posed, and you just want to change his shape. But with Morph Loader, you can do that in like 10 seconds. That's the difference, okay? But you have to learn how to use Morph Loader, and you never use it the wrong way. And it's too bad that Morph Loader didn't have more protections built into it. But how is Morph Loader going to know that you just uninstalled half your content and installed it somewhere else? It's just like, so you just have to constantly think about Morph Loader and like make sure before you install your content somewhere else that you come into Morph Loader and turn all your morphs back on. Because what it does is it looks at these are all the morphs, okay, for Genesis, all right? Now, I hardly ever use, that's why I had them all turned off, because I hardly ever use Genesis figures, okay? But if I check all and click execute, all right, it just turned on 740 morphs, okay, that I don't normally ever use. So why keep those Genesis morphs those Genesis 1 morphs even on? Now, if I uncheck them and click execute it, okay, too many toys. Well, I'm pretty good at using them, at multitasking. So, and the thing is, morph loader is a very big saver, but you know, if you upgrade your PC, if you upgrade your RAM, if you upgrade the speed of your M.2 drives, it might not matter how many morphs you have. And that's the thing is, when I buy a new morph set, like, you know, I remember when I first started out in Daz Studio, it said, 200 morphs, you know, 200 morphs, buy these 200 morphs. And, you know, I thought, oh, wow, 200 morphs. And I just didn't realize that it was going to, that having that product turned on was going to add another 10, 20 seconds, 30 seconds to my load time for my figure. But I can open this Genesis 8, okay, this right here, okay, now this is Genesis 8 male, which works for Genesis 8 and 8.1, and I can check all of those, and now I just turned on, now when I click exit, look how long it takes, this amount of time, it's enabling, this is how long it takes for morph loader to enable 15,541 morphs. Okay? It just enabled, in that little teeny amount of time, it just enabled 15,000 morphs. Now, tire right here, when I click on, we'll delete tire, and we'll bring this guy here, Trance, in. He's a Genesis 8.1 figure. Now, I just enabled those morphs. Now, I'm going to go back to Genesis 8. Now, we're going to disable these morphs, okay? Uncheck. Execute. Now, all I have to do with this guy, it's now disabling. All right, this is disabling for Genesis 8 male, and Genesis 8 and 8.1. Now, it just disabled 15,541 morphs. It disabled 15,541 morphs. Disabled them. All right, so now they're disabled. You have to know, okay, I just disabled all of my Genesis 8 male morphs. Now, if I click on this right here, and it says, when I put my mouse over, it says, enable the required morphs and merge the file into the scene. So it's only going to enable the morphs that he needs. Okay, so I'm going to click this now. Now look how long it takes to put this figure into the scene. It doesn't have to compute 15,000 morphs. All right, it just has to enable the morphs that, and actually it enables quite a few morphs, because there are certain, like Genesis 8 essential morphs that have to be loaded with any Genesis 8 figure. So there'll be a few morphs here, but not as many as, and if you'll notice, I won't get that duplicate morph thing because all those morphs have been turned off except the morphs needed for him. So, and this is taking longer than it's usually almost instantaneous, but I just shut off all those morphs and all, and now it's it's still kind of trying to reparse things, and I did mess up my library, so God only knows how many duplicate morphs I have now kicking around in this. So it's usually like almost instantaneous, but now it's reading duplicate morphs. So I don't know how many I duplicated. So yeah, it's time for me. That's one thing I can say, Gray, is that when I need to redo my library, I just basically delete my content library and that's one thing I've done. And when I delete my content library, I'm probably going to lose all my customized stuff. And but I'll redo it again. But this is taking way longer than it's supposed to. So is this something I've done really wrong? It's not going to pop up and say I've got that as a duplicated, because it's only loading what this figure needs right now for morphs. And it usually is like instant. You can count it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's done. But I just turned off all of those morphs, and now it's kind of got to recalculate that they're off. But we'll try a different figure, and it will probably be instant after this one. So that's, this is why this particular device here, this RAM here, this is 7,000. This is 20, how many gigs was it? 60 gigs per second, this M.2. So you put your Daz library on this thing, and it may not matter how many morphs you have, because it will read 60 gigabytes a second. And those morphs, I'll tell you, all of these morphs, they're probably not 60 gigs. So can the RAM load them, the video RAM load them in that fast? Probably it can on a 3090. So this is just horrible. Okay, so what it's taking, but we won't get that message. All right, so this is one character here. Let's close him. Now let's find another Genesis 8 figure and see if it's that takes that long again. So we'll go with Taurus. He's an 8-1 figure. And we go here to Taurus. He's the actor. Now you select this. All right, what's this one? Maybe merged or okay. What's this one? Inspect asset for used morphs and properties. Okay, so we go maybe merged. Okay, this one here. All right, what's this? All right, so let's let's just click this. Now you'll see, now this should go right into the scene. Okay, it shouldn't take long like it did before, unless again, I may have just created like double all of my morphs. I don't know how many morphs I duplicated, but it seems every character has duplicated morphs. I have no idea how many morphs I duplicated. So yeah, it's just timed, and it's going to take probably about 4 hours for me to reinstall all of my content. But I have this drive coming here in the mail in a few days. And so this one is going to, so we're going to get to test this out. So come back, people, come back and see. We're going to see, well, it'll be in a few days, and I'll have my entire Daz library installed on this. My current speed right now is about 3,200 or something. It's half of this. Okay, it's half of this speed. That my current, and I do have a PCIe Gen 4 slot for this. into the driveway. Going to move. Geico doesn't cover it if I leave it parked on the street. Be right back. Or have you seen the 8 terabyte NVMe drives? 8 terabyte NVMe drives. Let's see. 8 terabyte. All right. I have not. This NVMe. Okay, so yes, that's what we looked at earlier. They're $1,000. I think that's what these are. These are NVMe 4.0. These are M.2. Yeah. I think that's the same thing. Okay, what's the speed? Yeah, 6,000 and 7,000. Yeah, the one I got is this size. Yeah, $1,000. Art. Yeah. That's why I said go with two 4 terabyte ones and try and split your library off. So yeah, okay, this is still going. So I totally have messed up my somehow I ended up recopying like all of these, and that's what it comes up. It comes up with a whole crap load of this is supposed to be immediate. It's supposed to just go in there immediate. All it is this figure real quick, this figure and a few morphs. On your gift registry at Best Buy. Very nice. Very nice. Oh, you have it an 8 gigabyte drive? Well, you know what? I'll tell you, Art, I would recommend not buying the 8 gigabyte drive because these new right now it's at top dollar. It's just come out, okay? These 8 gigabyte drives have just come out, and right now, because these are 4.0 drives, okay? Well, they have 5.0 ones also, okay? So these are the you call them NVMe. I don't know the difference, because I always call them M.2, all right? And it's got both words, okay? So I'm not really sure what NVMe 4.0, because this NVMe, I usually call that PCIe. Okay, this is Gen 4 PCIe. What is the NVMe? I'm not sure exactly. I'm not sure what that term means. But I've always called them like this 4.0 Generation 4, because if it says NVMe or it doesn't, it's still 7,000 speed. Okay, 7,000 to 6,000 speed, 66,000. I'm not sure what NVMe stands for exactly, but it seems as though they're using it. But if you go to let's see, PCIe 5.0 and M.2. I've always called them N.2. All right, so Generation 5. Now look at this. All right, check this out. Now, these ones here, the one that, okay, this is what I was looking at earlier, but this is actually the 2 terabyte. So it's $115, so it's $260 for an 8 terabyte Generation 4, and that's up to 7,450 megabytes per second, which is 60 gigs per second. All right. And but look at this Generation 5 one. 14,000 megabytes per second. How quick do you think your figures would load with that? And if we go back to our chart, 14,000, it doesn't even go that high. All right. This is 12,000 is 100 gigabits per second. All right. Now my current one is 25 gigs. All right. That's what I'm running right now in here is 25 gigs per second. And that's how long it took to load. But imagine if you had like a 4 terabyte one, which was 5.0. Now this is 2 terabytes. This is $305 for, now this is for 5.0. This is for this generation 5, PCIe 5.0. Yeah, 5 times 4. Now, if we go here to their I don't even know that they sell anything bigger than, look at the heat sink on that. That's one heck of a heat sink. Now, this is PCIe 5. Okay, that's what we're looking at. This is the NVMe, I guess, is I always call them M.2. See, it's still got the M.2 here also. But this is only, this is how many terabytes? 2 terabyte. So this is 2 terabytes. And see, and again, and this one isn't even telling you the speed right now, but it's got to be somewhere around. Now you see this one is kind of sequential reads. It's only 5,000, so something is up with this. This isn't the right thing. This isn't the, okay, this is 2 terabyte, but it's supposed to be, not supposed to be it. That's why they didn't put the speed in the title. Because when you get down here, it's only 5,000. So something is just not right with that, okay? It's supposed to be like 14,000. Now, if you look here, this is, all right, let's see. 1 terabyte. This is 5.0, and it's 11,000. So that's still pretty fast. So right now, these 5.0, what I would suggest is go with the 4.0 4 terabyte, okay? Because they're only a couple $100, $215 for 1 terabyte. But the one that I purchased is let's see. Okay, it would be on this page. It's here. This is the 4 terabyte. 4 terabyte for $215. This, something like this, it doesn't necessarily have to be this particular one or whatever, but I would go with 4 terabytes because it's like a couple $100, and I would wait until these 15,000 ones come down, because right now 8 terabyte, it's $1,000 for one of those. And it's just not, you could get 2 of these for like 400. I saw one today. It wasn't as fast as this one, but it was on a special sale. It was 4 terabyte PCIe 4, and it was $200, $215 versus $1,000 for 8. You see, so they're so new that they're like really, really expensive. And I'm going to get, I got this one here, the 4 terabyte one. This is the one I bought. Okay, this is 4 terabyte. It was $215, Gen 4, 7,000. You know, it's half of the 14,000, but that's really, really, this $215. And it's the NVMe M.2, and it's PCIe generation 4, 4.0. And you know it is because of this speed. This speed is 7,450. That's the read speed. The write speed would be lower. Okay? It says 6,750. I think that's the write speed. Okay? The read speed is 7,450 megabits per second. And that converts to your 750 is 60 gigabytes. About 60 gigs, 7,500 is 60 gigabytes per second. And so that would give you, so when you bring your figures in, so I'm not going to be able to fix this scene, you know, until I delete my my library tonight, redo it. And I'm wondering if I should redo my library or wait a couple of days until the new card comes in, you know. This one. Well, this one, I don't know why this one says it's $266. Okay, and this one right here is $215. Now this is, so I just don't know the difference here because this is the one I bought and it's the same thing. $215. So this doesn't make any sense. This is 3.0, which would be like a lot less, $35. That's what I have in my computer now. Oh no, this is actually actually mine's about 3,000. That's 512 gigs. All right, so this is it. Oh, that's weird. It's kind of jumping around and doing all these weird, I don't need the heatsink 4.0. So I know mine is 4 terabyte at 4 terabyte. Oh, here it is, 4 terabyte. And this one, yeah, $215 for 4 terabyte. And this is with these speeds. And it's 4 terabyte, $215. So you know what? I tell you, anybody who's working with Daz Studio right now, this is where you should have your content on this right here. Okay? You should, and even if you only have, well, I could say if your computer doesn't have PCIe Gen 4, it's probably going to have Gen 3. And so if you were to put this in your computer with a Gen 3, you would only get 3,000 speed. Okay? 3,500 or something like that, half of this. Okay? So it would be a waste. So you have to look at the specs of your computer and find out if your M.2 is PCIe Gen 3 or 4. If it's 4, then you'll get this speed. If it's 3, you'll get half of it. So if it's 3, you're wasting money, okay? Because if we go PCIe, we'll go 4 terabyte CIE. Okay, 4 terabyte PCIe. See, these are all Gen 4, but you find a Gen 3 one, okay? PCIe 4.0, this is still 4.0. 2 terabyte, okay, 4. Was it Gen 4? Gen 4. Let's try Gen 3. We'll type PCIe. Let's type 4 terabyte Gen 3. Let's try it that way. No, it's like they're probably all sold out. Because you should be able to get one for like $30 or $40 or something. 4 terabyte PCI. Okay, this says Gen 3 times 4. I don't know what that means. And this is like expensive. I have one of these. This is one of my old ones, but welcome back, Art. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to have you back. I'm glad you got back in safely. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with this. Okay, 1 terabyte. So, yeah, this is size 2 terabyte up. Okay. Serial ATA. The latency is only 10 to 15 seconds. M.2 was first. Yeah, well, okay. I'm not sure what you're saying because they still, even these like 4th generation ones, they're still calling them M.2s. See? It says P plus NVMe 4.0 generation 4. This one is $400, but it still says PCIe M.2. And that's the M.2 is this socket here, the shape of this socket. Non-volatile memory express. External enclosure, yes, but make sure their USB their USB-C connections latency is what I term a delay in your stream. Okay, now, yeah, the let's see, 10 gigabits per second. Okay, and there's also USB. Okay. Is the fastest USB that I have is 20 gigabits per second. I think that's called it's like equal to not Lightning. There's some other kind of port that Apple made, but my current motherboard that I just bought, because my old motherboard had a couple of 2 or 3 maybe. They were 10 gigabits per second USB, okay? Now, my current motherboard that I just bought, that has a 20 gigabit per second port. But you see this M.2 that plugs into the motherboard, this is 60 gigabits per second, okay? So you're not going to, it would, if you buy an M.2 and plug it in through USB, like through a USB converter, you're not going to get the full speed of the M.2 chip. It's probably, let's see, 20 gigs. You would only, the most you could get would be this 2,500. All right. And the slowest like that you have, it would be like 35, 28 gigs. is like 3.0. PCIe 3.0 is about 28 gigs. So it's much higher than even the fastest USB. So you would want to definitely, you have to look at your motherboard and find out, is your motherboard PCIe 4 or 3? And because you'll probably, if it has this connector, well, then you have an M.2 connector. But you have to find out, is it Gen 3 or Gen 4? And if it's Gen 4, then you can get up to 60 gigs per second transferring your Daz stuff. But if it's Gen 3, then you can get to about 30 gigs per second. Because the Gen... All right, and I just wanted... it's been a while since I was here. I told you guys a bunch of, like, incorrect stuff. Like I told you that, like, PCIe 5 lanes were 60 gigs per lane, 63 gigs there. It's late and I'm off to bed. Gray, thank you very much for hanging out. Please, I hope you click on the bell for all of the notifications and come back and be part of this. Check out in a few days. I'm going to have this PCIe 4.0 and we'll be able to test this out and see how quickly things come in. I'll have my library fixed. Tonight when I go to bed, I'm just going to leave my computer on and it's going to unpack. Luckily, I don't have to reinstall all of those library items. I'm just going to delete my library and then have it delete everything in my library and then have it recreate it all. So, and I'll delete that other library instance. I have to get my library back. That's first. That's first thing, is to get my library back and get it working right. So you have a great night. Thank you for hanging out and thanking for enriching the conversation as much as you have. It's very nice having you here. Very nice. Bring in some friends if you can. If you know any more Daz creators, bring them in. We need them. We need them in here. And adding their expertise as well. So, so in a couple of days, we'll have this new... so my, right now, if you notice now this, look at how quickly this moves around in iRay. This is like really super fast now. I've got these, now my 3090... My last motherboard was PCIe. My PCIe slot was 3.0, which meant 3.0 is 1 gigabyte per lane. Okay? 4.0 is 2 gigabytes per lane. All right? 5.0 is 4 gigabytes per lane. Okay? So what that means is that, so now my graphics card is plugged into a 5.0 slot, which means that I have 4 gigabytes per lane, direct lanes. They're not passing through any kind of chipset or anything. It's 4.0 lanes directly to the chip, which even at that, there's probably my processor is not fast enough to process all of that coming from the graphics card. So there's probably about like a 20% bottleneck on my graphics card. And then I have my second 3090 plugged into a 4.0 lane, and that's going through the chipset. So that is also has an and that is running at I think 4x, which means it's probably probably it's still even at 4x because I think they're 4x but for their 5.0 lanes going through the chipset. I'm not sure, but that would mean that is probably getting at least 16 gigs, I would say, maybe even the full 32 gigs per second from the graphics card. So this is all pretty intense, incredible stuff. So now we take this guy here, and so this just means like right now this is amazingly fast. Now see this it's really fast, the setup here, but I think okay, now I think I moved hair and all out of this. So yeah, at this point I could work on, just kind of bringing in some. I think the biggest test of all of this is just seeing, because this is a new computer now. So I want to show you guys the best and gals here. New copy. Let's put a camera in here. Look through the camera. And then let's take and go to my favorites, and we'll go and most used, and let's put in an ultra scenery scene. I just kind of wanted, because, when you get a new computer and new chip, new graphics, new motherboard, new RAM, and all that stuff, what's the best test you can possibly do with Daz? And it's ultra scenery. Okay, there's just no doubt whatsoever that ultra scenery. So let's put in this, and then let's go to ecology. Let's grab one that's got a lot of really good ecology here to it. This one here. And then we go water. We'll use some water, and we'll go with the build. Select the camera and build the scene. And we're going to get to see what this late state-of-the-art computer. Now, I mean, I don't have a 4090 in here, but I do have like the fastest graphics card, the fastest chip you can buy next to a Xeon. All right, so under a Xeon, it's right directly under a Xeon, which the Xeon I didn't have that $7,000 to buy. Okay. And I don't know that the Xeon is really what I want, because I also do other stuff with my computer. I work with music, and I also like to play games and things like that. So we're going to get to see what this. Now the thing is that I was kind of disappointed with the ultra scenery. No matter how powerful your computer is, ultra scenery can always clobber it. Okay. But the thing is that what would happen when I would put an ultra scenery scene in is usually I couldn't move my camera at all. I would just sit there, and I'd have to turn stuff off, like just to be able to move the preview window, and now I'm able to kind of move it a little bit. Okay, we click done in a moment here when it lets us click it. And then we close this. And now I think I still should put this into, we go to render settings and to memory. Now Windows, okay, this would be in optimization. We go auto, and we'll put this into memory. And I remember hearing something said about how these new chips are supposed to allow, like, the graphics card to share memory with the system and all. But as you can see now, this allows me to actually move the scene. I couldn't do this before. I could not move the camera like this, okay? I would, if I wanted to move the camera like this or zoom in or anything like that, I had to turn off stuff. And so it's allowing me to actually move around a little bit, okay? And so actually this is a dream compared to the way it was. So, and this is it. This is what I'm going to be. Now, if I just come in here and I've got like this river pebbles, okay, if I just turn them off, and what else is really big here? We got the bluebells. Oops, what did I just do? Z. Okay, we'll turn off the bluebells. If it will let me here. Okay. Turn off the bluebells. And where are the river pebbles? Okay, the river pebbles are off. So it'll take a moment for this to come back. And now I should be able to move around even a little more. Yeah, see, so this this is not bad at all, okay? It's got some throughput, okay? It's got some I can work with this. And so this is not bad right now. So we take this little bridge. Maybe we don't need the bridge. And there's a little piece of the bridge down there. I think another little piece. We can take the bridge out. Okay, and we go like this. See, I can actually move around here. This was impossible with my last computer. And my last computer had 18 power cores. And this is just, and this one's only got 8. But they're just, they've got these efficiency cores, which are running everything in the background. So this is really amazing, this whole thing here. This is beautiful. Like, and you just come down a little bit more like this, and then bring this down a little bit. Okay, and bring this over and zoom in a little bit more. Okay, we got to go like this and come in like this. And I wouldn't be able to, with my other computer, I would not be able to manipulate the scene. Hello, my name is Arthur, and it's been 2 weeks since I last rendered. The chat replied, "Hello, Arthur." Did I miss somebody? That's awesome. It was like, I've made renders even though I haven't been online, because I've had to kind of figure out how all of this works and what I'm doing with this and all. So it's not been an easy thing. So this right here is like the most difficult thing. Now, what happens if I bring a VDB into here? Okay, because VDBs are, I had problems with the VDBs because when I would have a very full scene, and then I would bring a VDB in to the scene, it would just cause problems. And let's see what we have here. Props. And we're going to use this big, huge this. Let's go use the other VDB in the later version. This one. Props. And let's use this cloud field. All right. What does this look like? And now will I be able to manipulate the scene with this? Look at the fog there now. So we take this cloud fog. It's been 2 weeks since I last rendered. You have been so busy. I have rendered stuff. Even though I've been building computers and studying, I've had to study so much about stuff but I still have found time to make a couple of renders. So not a lot, but a few. So here it's like, this is pretty amazing that I can manipulate this VDB in the middle of an ultra scenery scene. Look at that. So now we can go Z and bring this in a little bit. I can't tell which way it's moving. All right, let's go out of iRay and see if... Okay, so we go Z now, which I can see at least which way I'm moving this fog. All right, like that. And bring it down a little bit. Okay. And now let's see what we've got here for fog. Look at this. And now we could take this fog here. And so we're going to have some fun, people. This is why I'm here, is to share this experience with all of you, to share the fun with this so that we can all kind of enjoy this technology and see how it all works together. That's what we're doing here. That's what, and that's it, is so that I can share the goodness of my life with people that maybe aren't there yet or haven't quite gotten their systems together. This is what it's about. It's about so that you can see what a nice system, how it kind of works, and give you an idea of this, so that maybe at some point you'll get to this, where this is. All right, so let's take this down a little bit so it's not okay. Where I put way too much. Let's go Let's go 2. Look at that. See, this is very cool. Look at how the fog is just coming up above this. We could bring our camera right down to the level of the fog. And then we'll bring this down to maybe 0.1. Okay, that's a little bit not enough fog. So let's go 0.9. Look at this. Let's go 0.5. See, I am a VDB person. I love VDBs. I love working with them so much. They're just and the thing is that it really, the reason why is because it really pushes my computer to have to work really hard at things. Let's bring this cloud field up a little bit more so it covers the top of the bushes. Look at that. Now, so or we could try this like this, and just bring it up more like this. This is amazing. Okay, I would say that if we could try this thing, like go like this and kind of make a fog wall. Let's go out of here. Let's try that. Okay, that's not bad. Now we take and put some kind of a HDRI in here, environment. I moved all my HDRIs to the other drive, and then I really messed things up. So they're still, now they're not listed here, so I would have to go to parameters. See, this is so much more snappy now. When I come in here, it's just everything is so much more snappy. And abandoned church. That's what we need. Oh, look at that. Let's bring the wow. We need is a nun. All right. So let's bring this back. Let's level this back off again like that. What would be rotate 0? And then bring this back down. Let's try this. Look at that. This is amazing. Everything is green except what's back there. That's pretty cool. Let's rotate the church around and see what we get. Okay. What we can do with the church, I think, is we can take and do something really weird with the camera. Focal distance. Which one is it? Focal? I don't think it's it's frame width. Yeah. Now what we could do is bring our, I'll go back to our ultra scenery and go back to favorites, most used, ultra scenery creator. Let's see if it will put everything back into the scene because we've gone back a little bit. So we go to build, rebuild the scene. It's going to turn the pebbles back on, or it might. Hopefully, it doesn't create more. Yeah, the focal distance is for depth of field. It's been 2 weeks since I last rendered. It's good to have a busy life, Art. I think that being busy is good. It's a good thing. As long as you love what you do, you know. There's, you know, it's not hard to love just about everything we do, you know. It's even the mundane things in life we can find. Welcome, Chris. Welcome. You missed it. I completely messed up my content library trying to use the install manager to move content into another folder, into another My Daz 3D library folder. I created 2 of them. And my suggestion is, yes, there are certain things you can move into there, but now every time I put a figure into the scene, it says that I have duplicate things. And I didn't realize that I had, it may not have been the install manager that did it. It may have been actually my turbo loader. I had stuff, yeah, and I have 11,000 items. So tonight, all night while I sleep, I'm going to have to reinstall my entire library. I have all of the files, so that should be okay. Now it put the bridge back in. So, but the problem was when I moved stuff around, I forgot that these turbo loader things, that I had them disabled. And look at this. This is cool. I still think this bridge has got to go. But this is really cool. This is cool. I think the sky is too, because what I did was zoomed out the camera. Now it didn't put things here because the bridges. Now I think what I can do, I turned off those and it turned them back on. Okay, so it turned back on like the river pebbles and stuff. Now I think what I can do is go back into favorites. So yes, we have, I think I can turn off the bridge and things. I think there's a place here. Oh yeah, I can turn them off. Oh, but I have to select ultra scenery or it'll create a new one. All right, so we're working with my new computer, Chris. And so I've got the, I think it's the 9500. It's 8 P cores and 16 E cores. And we're also now at 96 gigs of is it the 5 VR5 or something RAM? I can't remember what it is. My brain is gone soft. It's yeah, and also new motherboard, Asus motherboard with I have a PCIe 5.0 16X slot in the new motherboard, and it is all ready for a 5090 when they come out. I had to upgrade my computer because I just wanted to be ready when the 5090 comes out. I won't be able to probably afford to buy it because I bought the new computer, but at some point I'll be able to put a 5090 in here and have it work fairly well with this. I've got a 1600 watt power supply. Okay, so in this build, if I take out the there's grass verge, bluebells, fairy. Okay, there's a props. There's a way to take out the props. Road grit, road rocks. Where are the props? Grass stuffs, flowers, fairy rings, base verge, extend forest, ecology. All right, if I just do the find the features without the bridge. Like I think there's one here without a bridge. Okay, this one. No, there's some kind of crossing there. We'll just do a river. Okay, this one doesn't have a bridge. Let's try that. We'll go to build. All right, build scene. So, yeah, what I did was I took the camera and I it increased the focal length so that the HDRI sky would kind of like zoom back into the distance. That's a way, it's a way of making your HDRI sky look a little bit more farther away if the moon is too big and things, but then it stretches and distorts your scene quite a bit too, especially if you have a figure in the scene. It's going to distort them quite a bit. But I don't have a figure in this scene, so it might actually play well into the scene. So let's see where this river goes in here. The ultra scenery, it's really interesting to be able to sometimes put a second camera in the scene and then you can have it render from the second camera ultra scenery, but so that you kind of get your position of where you want your land to be, and then you can move the entire ultra scenery plane after you've kind of generated what you want. It's just a kind of a camera trick you do with ultra scenery, because you do want your staging area to be roughly near the center of your world, of your vector world. Okay, so let's close this and see what we've got now. Okay, iRay. Anytime. It's not computing it. Oh, there we go. Wow. So this is pretty nice. So, all right, what we could do is take our environment options and just kind of move this church around a little bit. It's like parameters, and just move it over a little bit. So it's an Orthodox church. So it looks kind of washed out. I wonder what would happen if I darken this a little bit. We would go down this to 1 maybe, and maybe we can get some more detail out of the sky. We could go down to 0.5. Now this environment intensity in the environment map, my fog layer is right here. We're going to pull that up so it's a little closer to the camera. Okay, I can't really tell. Let's see. Now I just don't want it beyond the camera here. Just enough so that the camera picks it up. All right, and then where is my distant light? Okay, that is pointing here. And it's really nice that you can change the focus of your distant light if it's just not quite in the right place. Now I'm going to come in through the trees like this, if it will allow me to. Okay, so we get some kind of crisscross light. Go back to my camera. Let's go here. And then we'll add some lumens to this. Let's go to 5. And let's take the temperature down, warm it up a little bit in here. And let's see what this does. Oh, we got some light coming in. That did warm it up. Let's bring this up a little more. You can see the wildflowers in there now. Let's go to 4 here. So the artwork was very nice on your scene. Look at this. See, they're going to turn this light. We're going to have some light coming in through here. See what happens. Did I do this right? We need some light coming through. Okay, it's going to show us now. There we go. That's pretty nice. It's a little bit too bright, but we got some light coming in, so we just take and tone it down a little bit. It's way too exposed here. Might be able to get by with like 1 maybe. There we go. Little churchyard. So with a little road going in, a little Bethel. That's what this is. It's a Bethel. I think a Bethel is actually it's usually on the sea. Yeah. So, all right. Well, what happens if we warm this up even a little bit more? Kind of give it a little more red, like sunset. It's a very contrasty image to have the sun, this warmth coming in on the side, and then this really cold kind of background image here. But we can kind of mess with that as well. Look at this now. So we could take this environment here in the back, and we could give this a little bit of a tint, kind of like there. Now it fits. So, all right. And we'll render this. And it's like it's a photo. It looks like a photograph, really. It kind of does, even though these trees kind of look, the land doesn't quite look level, like something's not quite right, but it's okay. I wonder if I were to take, let's go, now here's, I don't know, let's save this, file save as. We'll call this Sunset Bethel. All right, and save this, and that saved pretty fast. I find characters just save so slow. All right, now what was I going to do? We were going to render it, but there was also another thing. Oh, I was thinking about bringing this church up a little bit more. Oh, let's see if we can. Now, filament mode, just to let you know, some things don't work in filament mode. I mean, they just don't work at all. Like if you try to view them in filament mode, your computer will crash. Your Daz will crash. But the thing about filament mode is it's the only way to see an HDRI. And so sometimes you have to maybe turn things off in your scene to get filament mode to work. Because some things just won't display in filament mode at all. It just crashes Daz. So now let's see. We're going to go here to this, what it would be, X maybe? This like this. What happens if we do that? What's this scene look like now? In iRay. I might not like it. Oh, that's a little better, I think. That's pretty nice. Okay, so we'll save it. And then, so the only way to view an HDRI in Daz is in filament mode. And then you can actually manipulate it, move it around, and see where you're putting it. Okay, so we now go to okay, render settings. And we're going to render this at 2000, I guess. It'd be probably nice to have a few geese on the lawn here. I don't think I have geese. Some little white geese would be nice though, but let's see if I have them. Let's all files. No. Did I spell that right? Geese. Okay, let's try ducks. Chickens. Okay, ducks. Why aren't things showing up? All right, I'm in files. Okay, not that duck. I thought I had like, I just wonder if I've like half of my library's gone now that I've messed it up. Okay, so we gotta get this ibis bird. He's gotta be, it can't just look like he's standing there. He's gotta actually be standing in the grass. Let's get him, I think this looks, that's actually part of this thing, so that's not gonna work. But let's bring him back maybe and see, okay, let's see if I gotta look at his feet up close. Make sure then we'll put him a little bit above the grass because there's going to be grass here and we won't see his feet if he's in. So we'll put him above the grass so that and let's turn him a little bit like this so he's kind of looking a little more this way. And then let's go back. Let's see what this looks like. I love this red ibis birds. I just had to buy this. We're going to try to bring this fog up a little bit so that it's a little more noticeable. We'll go with a little more. Okay, there we go. There's a little bit of fog there. We have Sickle Yields fog, my favorite fogs. She makes the best fogs. So, all right. Well, I think that's too much fog now. We'll go back to 1. It kind of, obscures the river too much. Little details like this. So I think we'll still we'll go back to 1.8. 0.8. There we go. So, all right, there's our mission, the Sunset Bethel. Yeah, with the red ibis bird. Yeah. Okay, so let's save this and yeah, all right, let's do a test render. This is going to render so fast, it's like obscene. Yeah. So because yeah. Look at that. It's just beautiful. Yep. Yeah. Okay. It looks like I lost my rocks. They don't look like they're here, like they came back, but maybe the little road, the pebbles, I think I kind of messed them up by turning them off and then re-rendering. Because I don't see them here. River pebbles that says they're here, but I'm not sure. But it's rendered. Okay, people, I guess this is going to do it for now. I have to go back and redo. I don't know why this is done. Let's see. I'll render it again, but like it shouldn't be done. Okay, I left the render enabled. Okay, I didn't even set up my render here. Okay, that's minimum samples. We'll leave that down to like 6, I guess. 6. The maximum samples and maximum time, bring them up like that. And turn off the render quality. Save it again. And we're going to do this now. Okay, well, thank you people for hanging out and watching. I will see you again soon. I'll be back soon with more of my library fixed. This is beautiful. So we've got beautiful light coming in from the side. So, yeah, I wonder if that red ibis bird is... Yes, take care, CDJ. Yes, I was wondering if the red ibis bird is actually iRay, but he looks okay, even if he's actually 3D light. It's far enough away. I'm not too happy with the way these cattails look right there. They're not as high enough quality for an upfront thing. And I may have some cattails that are actually nicer, but then I'd have to replace them all in the scene. But, you know, that's what making a scene is all about. So I just thought I would bring up that point. You know, you have to look at your scene, and you have to be... one more little tip here, okay, is that we develop skills, okay? And this is the way I'll kind of end this, okay? Because as artists, like if you mix, like if you make music, you use speakers and you listen to the speakers and you develop a skill listening to like and hearing the different, like that if there's distortion or if there's any kind of hum or something in your music that's not supposed to be there, and then you put headphones on and your ears have to adjust and you have to learn that skill to listen in the earbuds or headphones. It's a whole different skill than listening to your music in the speakers. And that's the same way when you see a scene, is that you have to look at the scene and you have to look at things like this up close. And you have to develop skills to see like screen, like banding and things like that. And to notice, and there's also like when you mix music, your ears get tired. And the song starts to just sound kind of horrible. And you can't really tell, once your ears get tired, you can't mix it anymore. You can't tell how good it's sounding or how bad it's sounding because your ears just get tired. And that's the same thing that happens with a scene, is you get like scene fatigue. And you can't really tell, you get used to the scene and you can't really tell if your characters are attractive or not anymore, because it's like there's that saying that a face only a mother could love. Well, we end up like becoming, acclimatized to our figures, and we can't really tell what they look like. And so there's a rule that if you just like go take a nap or check before you publish a scene or before you publish a song, you have to take a nap and you have to come back when your ears are rested and you have to listen to that song again, and you'll hear, and all of a sudden you'll just notice instantly all the mistakes and all the problems and fix it like immediately. And that's the same way with the scene, because it's like I'm kind of lucky that I noticed that these are they look like really low resolution. They just don't look good there, And so they look good here. These look fine, but these don't here. And whatever it is, maybe I could just take them out. I could unpack these and take those out and just put a bush here or something else. And I think I have some high resolution, it's just, I have all kinds of other high roofs. I could put a juniper plant here or some tree or something. And I have some really high quality juniper trees. I don't know anything, but this just doesn't look quite right to my eye. And so that's the thing is, so it's a skill that we learn. It's not something that everybody has immediately. It takes sometimes years to develop the skill to hear distortion in your music, to say, oh, something is distorting. I think it's the cello is too loud. It's distorting in the channel or something. It takes years to develop that skill, to learn this, and it works also with scenes like this. And you can tell a good artist when their art looks good, that they have the skill. That they have that skill that it takes to look at their figures and not allow their figures to just kind of, because I've had figures that I just thought were gorgeous, and then I would come back and I would look at, and it happens a lot to me because I think I'm more inclined to, be that mother who, the face that only a mother could love. That it's just. That is me. That I'm going to become kind of molded by my figure and all of a sudden become desirous of something. And when I come back, I say, "Oh my God, their chin is like blah blah blah," and they're just I have to go back and work their face again because it's just not right. And it's a skill, and it's a skill that I say that we can develop. I think we can train our ears, become critical of our art. Yes, exactly. And see and look at things and notice things that and you go into the Daz gallery and you see all kinds of varying levels of artistic skill. Okay? And let's leave it at that. So, because you just see varying levels of skill there. And I think that in time that all of these artists can raise their skill level up higher. And it's just, and so it's never to be, you say be critical, and what you mean, Art, is to be critical of our own work. But it's not really appropriate to be critical of other people's art because we're all at different stages of our growth. Perfect. That's the way we all can be. We can all become good artists. So I love you all. Take care, and I will see you again in the next EZ3DTV art channel. Okay, we're going to play a little bit of music to one of my songs here that I made. And we will see you again in the next tutorial. I hope you have learned something here. Thank you, Chris and CDJ Art. And we've had, who else? Angus here. And we also had Gray from the UK. And we had Denier. And we had Denier here. And Denner, I guess. And we also had, who else was here? 3D Madness was here as well. So, yes, and we had Ed from London. He always comes in at the beginning near the beginning. So, all right, very much. Thank you very much, people. Angus, good night. Have a lovely evening as always. Angus, our faithful Daz person who comes and hangs out a lot. He's been the longest running EZ3DTV spectator. So, all right, thank you very much. Take care. I will see you again soon, everybody. Bye-bye for now. All righty. So